The reason why I have my little bike is because I worked for it. So like there's this place like not too far from here in North Adams where every Wednesday, you know, there's a bunch of bikes and you like volunteer.
Yeah.
And then like once you reach a certain amount of hours, you get the bike.
So you have family in Ghana?
Yeah, like a lot of my family is in Ghana, but that's just because I have like a humongous family.
Yeah, okay, that's nice.
I love growing up in New Jersey. Like, I love the history. I just love the people, like the diversity.
Yeah.
There's just so much, like, so much happening. So much great things happened in New Jersey. And it's just like, you know, and I think I'm a product of that, LOL. But, you know, it's really taught me a lot about a lot of different types of people and just helped me be more tolerant. Like, Williams, like, attracts a lot of high-achieving people who, like, seem to have a plan, like, oh, I want to go to law school, or I want to go to med school, or I want to go do consulting. Like, everybody seems to be on a trajectory. And I came in initially, like, wanting to go to law school straight through, but I'm like, after this semester, let me not.
So do you plan to take a CS class?
No.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, like when I was really young, I was like, you know, I've learned how to, you know, do like the basic 3 HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a little bit of Java. But that's just because I was just bored. That's just like that's what happens when we have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Or even if you're having trouble, there's so many resources available that you came here to use.
Yeah.
So use them and join a sport. Like, I was, even if it's not joined, like, just try a sport that you never tried before. I've never done rugby before. And even when I tell a lot of people I play rugby, like, they laugh at me. They're like, oh my God, you're so skinny. Why are you playing rugby? But it's because I like the community there. So definitely, like, join a sport, try to stay active, do a PE, and do not be afraid to try new things. Like, you're in college. Like, you know, if you've never skied before, ski. Like, you never played rugby before, play rugby. Like, if there's something you're itching to do, this college has so many resources, and this is the time to take advantage of them.
Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I have with me here Michelle, who is also a rising sophomore here at Williams College. And today we are going to talk about college life, as we do all the time. Thank you for making the time to be with me here. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, great. So how has your summer been?
My summer, honestly, it's been very chill. Like, I mean, it's been chill for the most part. I just wake up, ride my bike, go to work, do like some other like research related stuff, go to sleep and like hang out with my friends.
Yeah,
I think summer here is like the best part about being here.
That's nice. I mean, aside the weather being very, very nice, you know, the weather is very nice and it's warm, unlike winter when it's very cold. And I just don't like the cold, but I think I love this summer, you know. Yeah, and it's my first summer in the US also.
Yeah, how's that been?
I mean, it's great. I love it. Yeah, I'm working like you. I go to work, I hang out with friends after work, and and make videos. So it's been fun. So what work are you doing?
So I'm doing a lot this summer, low-key. So my main work on campus is, first, I work in special collections. So I'm looking at the archives of Sterling A. Brown. He was an alum, like about 100 years ago, one of the first Black alum.
Okay.
And he was like, and then he went on to be he's a poet, and then he went on to be a professor at Howard University. So just looking at his collection of books and records mostly.
Okay, that's nice. What does he talk about? What does he write about?
Like, I haven't really looked too much into his poetry, but he just writes about like a lot of, he just like does poetry similar to like a lot of the other African American poets in the 20th century. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, before we get deeper into our conversation, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? You know, how you grew up and stuff like that.
Okay, so I grew up in New Jersey, North New Jersey, just like around 30-40 minutes outside of New York City. I grew up with my parents and then my brother. It was just the four of us.
Yeah.
And where I grew up right outside of Newark, so you know, I grew up around a lot of Black people. There's a decent amount of like Ghanaian and like other African immigrants like where I live.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I've been to Ghana like a few times, but
that's nice.
But yeah, I mostly grew up in Jersey, and now I'm here.
Yeah, nice. So you have family in Ghana?
Yeah, like a lot of my family is in Ghana, but that's just because I have like a humongous family.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. Which part of Ghana did you go to?
I mean, well, like most of my family, of course, they live in Accra. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I spend most of my time like when I went with my aunt, like we mostly spent time in East Legon, but then
Yeah.
like my grandmother lives in cantonments, and then but we're mostly from the Volta region.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
my parents, like I mean my dad's village is Agbozome, but like him and my mother both grew up in Ho. So,
Yeah,
like, you
okay.
know.
That's nice. What do you think of Ghana?
I think Ghana is very interesting because mostly because of just like I like Ghana and everything, but I think it's like I feel like the life that like I lived like in America is like totally different from like the life like I guess like my parents and stuff, and like my other family members like in Ghana grew up, and it was very interesting to say the least to see that like side by side.
Yeah,
but I like Ghana. I think
nice.
that like definitely probably for winter study, I'll probably if I go like abroad, I might like want to spend more time like in the Volta region.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. What do you plan to do?
Like, I don't know, because even myself, I feel very fragmented in terms of like what I want to study in college.
Yeah.
Like, I might do like something like a tourism thing, like just seeing like a lot of like available like tourist spots in like Ghana. I mean, especially in the Volta region, or just like maybe doing some type of ethnographic work, because I feel like, especially because like I don't really speak Ewe, but like I was like, and even like a lot of like the Ghanaians, like, you know, I grew up with, like most of them like speak Tree, like they don't speak Ewe. And even like a lot of like the Togolese people I know, like their Ewe, their dialect is like different than like the dialect like my dad mostly speaks. So maybe just like going there and just probably like learning the language more, like specifically like my dialect.
That's actually very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's nice.
I love growing up in New Jersey. Like, I love the history. I just love the people, like the diversity.
Yeah.
There's just so much happening, so much great things happen in New Jersey. And it's just like, you know, and I think I'm a product of that, LOL. But, you know, it's really taught me a lot about a lot of different types of people. It just helped me be more tolerant and just be more like immersed into like a whole lot of cultures, because I think that's the biggest difference from growing up in such like a diverse place like that, and then coming here where everybody just kind of like, for the most part, grew up the same, white, upper middle class, went to private school. It's like all shade, but you guys are like so boring, and like, you know, and me like going back to New Jersey, because at first like obviously growing up there, I didn't want to go to Rutgers. I'm like, like I've been there, done that. But like now it's like I go back, and every time I appreciate the friends I've made there. I just appreciate a lot about New Jersey, because, you know, like we have like a lot of like black politicians, a lot of great black musicians came from, especially my part of New Jersey, like Lauryn Hill, Whitney Houston, SZA, and even like Queen Latifah, just like all these like brilliant musicians, and just like a lot of like American history happened in Newark. Like, you know, after the Newark riots, there was the city got the first black mayor of like a major city. You know, like he died in his son actually died recently, but like our first New Jersey's first black congressman came from my area. There's just like a lot of important history.
Yeah,
so
that's happening there. That's really great. You just finished your first year, right? You're now a rising sophomore. How was your first year like?
Oh my God. It was nothing short of like, I wouldn't even say hell, because at least hell is a definitive place. It was more like purgatory. Like, you know, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what to do. And especially it's like, I feel like everybody, you know, like Williams like attracts a lot of high achieving people who like seem to have a plan, like, oh, I want to go to law school, or I want to go to med school, or I want to do consulting. Like everybody seems to be on a trajectory, and I came in initially like wanting to go to law school straight through, but I'm like, after this semester, let me not. And even about major wise, like I came in wanting to double major in political economy and women, gender, and sexuality studies. But even now, like I'm still gonna do widgets, but the political economy, I'm kind of shaky off, just because the faculty is just sucks.
Okay, so what made you change your mind, like about the political specifically?
So I'm really interested in public policy because it affects a lot of things that, it just affects every single thing. And like I've grown up, like even in like high school, like I was in like the law and public safety like sector in my school. So like I learned a lot about government, diplomacy, like, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm just like a political nerd junkie. But like going here, like because it's liberal arts and there's no like real like public policy focus, like the major only offers that in your senior year. And like the faculty, and I feel like, to be quite frank, a lot of like the political science people here, especially who focus on American politics, first of all, they're so short-sighted. Second of all, they're race blind. And it's just like, especially in like my class, my Intro to American Politics class, which is basically like a glorified version of AP Government for all of my US people watching, like my professor, being like I wasn't the only black person, but the rest of the black people were like men, and like being there and having all these rich experiences, like and talking about them, and like my professor basically like just like not just like being like microaggressive, like allowing like the culture of the class to make it seem like my words and my experiences were just invalid, which is like which did take a toll on me, because it's like I come from this place. I've worked in government before. Like I know these places. I'm literally doing all these things and interactions with government.
Yeah.
And it's like for you to like constantly like diminish my experiences and act like like racism just doesn't exist. Where I live in an extremely liberal place, and even they are still racist, and they still harbor feelings about black people. So like. So for me to bring up those experiences in classes and like for you to like invalidate them, but if a white person were to say that in class, now it's, oh my God, it's like, it's only so much of that you can take. And it's like with the public policy route, there's so many, I don't have to make, the blessing about Williams is I don't have to major in that specifically to be able to do the work, which is kind of like, which is what I'm realizing. So it's like, I think just the more I navigate this place, the more I realize that no matter what you do, you need faculty who will support you. And I feel like the faculty that I've interacted with, especially like in the political economy side, like they're not really, like maybe I just haven't found someone who will mentor me yet. But like the fact that like it's my first year and I don't really feel like strong and secure in like a faculty who would mentor me, it's like I can't do that. Like I just can't put myself through that, especially because at the end of the day, like I know what I'm worth. I know the work that I've done in my community. I know all the politicians that I know. It's just like it's like insulting for you guys to like basically just live in like your elitist bubble and like try to invalidate my experience. It's kind of like a how dare you?
Yeah.
So that
makes sense.
That's why.
So do you plan to work in political economy and stuff like that, even if you don't major in it, right? Yeah,
like I do think that like I do want to like work in public policy or like something like government related, just to like and government, because government is so expansive. There's so many pockets that I could work in.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so what do you plan to major in right now, since you don't think you are going to major in political economy?
Well, I'm still gonna definitely major in women, gender, and sexuality studies because like I feel like a lot of that work is like a lot of the work I've done prior to Williams, and there's a lot of work I'm even still doing now with my fellowships, and it's just so, I think it's so important to have an understanding of how like a lot of marginalized people move in society, and I feel like Widgets helps like you understand that so that's why I feel like it's important for especially me to major.
That's great. I took a Widgets class during the winter.
Oh, which class did you take?
I think about childhood in America. I don't know, going forward, I may take another class.
You should. Oh my gosh, you should.
Do you have any recommendation for me? Which one to take?
I'm honestly like all of like the Widgets classes are great. My first Widgets class that I've taken was actually a 300 level. It was the Pedagogy of Liberation. Professor Greta Snyder offers it every fall. So if you want to take if you want to take that class, definitely take that class. And 101 is also great. Because I want to major in it, I might take it in the fall. But also there's this other like data class I want to take that I probably might like drop out of Widgets 101 and just take it like my senior spring or something. But great. Those two classes definitely recommend.
I'll look into that and maybe take those classes. Maybe one of those classes. Are they all like writing skills class?
Well, 101 is writing skills class. 345, which is pedagogy of liberation, is not.
Okay.
But yeah, but I really I love that you want to take more of those classes because funnily enough, can I tell you like a quick side story? So I was the reason why I have my little bike is because I worked for it. So like there's this place like not too far from here in North Adams where every Wednesday, there's a bunch of bikes and you like volunteer.
Yeah.
And then like once you reach a certain amount of hours, you get the bike.
Oh, okay.
And then this person was asking me like similar, like, oh, what's your major? And I talked about my gender studies major. And he was like, isn't that like divisive and stuff, like isn't that class divisive? And like I really want to like push against that stigma that learning about gender studies is very decisive, because oftentimes like especially like our gender, like I feel like a lot of people have the privilege to not have to like constantly think about it or be in like just like feel like a certain way about their gender. And it's like those classes honestly are even more like are the least divisive classes. You learn a lot more. The culture is generally like, even if you might not know a lot like the people around you, the other religious majors, you still have a lot to take in and learn. And I think that helps you be more tolerable of people who might not come from the same background as you. But my econ classes, I'll tell you that like it's just not that way. In the political science, it's like there's only one way of thinking. If you're not thinking that way, then it's like then your teacher will best case scenario, brush you off. Worst case scenario, like how I had, like, infuse the microaggressions and aside from brushing you off. So I definitely think the gender studies classes on campus offered are more tolerable.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to take one more gender studies class going forward. Yeah,
you should.
And I'll look into the ones you mentioned.
You should. And wait, what are you majoring in again?
Math and CS.
Yeah, so you definitely need some Div 2s.
yeah, I need some Div 2s. But I've actually taken all my Div 2s. Can you imagine?
Really? Yeah, what classes?
I took history. History, I think, is 110, which is about Bombay, Mumbai, the history of Bombay and colonization and stuff like that. And then I took what's the name of this class? It's about climate, food systems. Yeah, it's a writing skills class. It was a tutorial class, so I took that one as well, and I finished my Div 2 classes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, the history class is very intensive. Coming from a background where I took only science and math classes in high school, so it was kind of very difficult for me. But the professor made it easy for me, so I'm grateful. So
no, I'm glad. I think that no matter what fields you're into, I think that's one of the reasons why I did want to come here. Like you get to do a little bit of everything because it's like true. You will. Like I've heard from like a lot of just like people like especially in science and math, like you guys can do the math but you guys cannot write. Exactly. And how can you guys communicate if you guys can't write? And similarly with me, the reason why I want to learn how to like code R and stuff is one, in my research a lot, like I'm having like my advisors in the research, like the head researchers tell me like this is what we use to code the data and stuff. So even in stuff that's more like that you think is like widgety, because like learning about like like looking into like the health needs of like LGBTQ people, like it does sound very widgety, but even with that, even the Div 2 baddie still needs to learn how to code. And econ, like I need how to code, learn how to code and data and stuff. Yeah.
So do you plan to take a CS class?
No.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, like when I was really young, I was like, I've learned how to, do like the basic 3 HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a little bit of Java. Yeah. But that's just because I was just bored. I was just like that's what happens when we have nothing to do.
Yeah. Are you part of any clubs here?
Yes, I am. So, what clubs am I like? Okay, so I'm on the BSU board as one of the communications people for this upcoming year. I'm on the Queer Collective. This year I'm the co-chair, but last year I was like also the comms person. What other clubs do I just joined casually? I'm on the rugby team.
Okay.
I'm on the women's rugby team. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
What else do I do? Like sometimes I go to like Off the Hook, which is like this crochet club on campus. And I also work in the chaplain's office as their comms person.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I work with the chaplain. the Muslim chaplain.
Oh, Sidra.
Yeah, Sidra, she's amazing. She helped me a lot, with the Sloan coffin, the preaching thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I
like,
did that.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, ooh, I do want to talk about that a little bit because obviously, like, I work with the comms people, and like most of the people were, already like really into like, the chaplain's office. They were all seniors. I was glad to see Afrosh up there. So big ups to you.
Thank you. It was intimidating at first, but then I got better. She helped me, practice and it got better.
No, I'm so
And
glad.
I did very well.
You did, of course you did. Like, I have no
very
doubts, and I'm glad,
Yeah, thank you. I think public speaking is something that, a lot of people, have problems with, have trouble with. Yeah, and I think that myself included, obviously. So I've been working on it, like improving my public speaking skills and stuff like that. So it was really helpful for me to be part of that, that event. Yeah.
Like, no, your voice is so important. So I'm glad that, that helps you, feel more confident in sharing more.
Yeah, that's true.
And your essay was great. So.
Yeah. So what classes do you plan to take, like, next semester?
Okay, next semester, I'm currently pre-registered for Widgets 101, some Widgets 300 class, Transfilm and Media. I'm taking Empirical Methods of Political Economy, and I'm taking The Origins of the State, which is a poli-sci class.
Okay, that's cool. Do you plan to take any science or math classes? Have you taken some already?
I've taken calculus. I've taken statistics for social sciences, where I had to learn how to do stata, code stata, and my fifth class might be data for justice, which is where I plan on learning R. So I might either have that as a fifth class or drop Widgets 101 in place of it.
That's the interesting part about Williams College, like liberal arts college. You get to take all these diverse classes, and it's amazing. Like, data analysis class is very important. Like, like you mentioned, you work with data a lot. You've worked with data a lot before in the past, and you're still doing so. And I think it's very nice to be able to take that class, like R, and learn R, which is very important for data analysis.
No, R is important. Like, even all the econ girlies, like, I remember I did one of like a lot of like consulting and econ places. Like, they have like freshman days where you like learn more about the company. So I went to one, and even I was talking to a Williams alum actually, and she was like, when she was in Williams College, she did stata because that's what the econ department wants us to learn. But when she came to the actual field, she did R. And then even like I said before, like with my research in two different fields, they still do R. So no matter where you are, learning how to analyze data is very important.
Yeah, because data is something that you deal with every day, every time. In every work that you do, there's data to be analyzed. So it's a very important skill, yeah. So that means you're going to program, because R is a programming language.
Yeah, I'm going to learn how to program. But the programming I probably foresee myself doing in the future is just like coding, just like data responses, or like if I choose to do more like ethnographic research, maybe just learning how to code to just like see like what type of responses come up, how many times they come up. And like I've done that like before, because like with one of my past research projects, like I was analyzing just like how school segregation, like and income segregation affects like high school students in New Jersey. So like I took their responses and and in my presentation, like I was able to, like code how many times this came up and this came up. So it's pretty cool.
That's nice. You have experience with this stuff already, so it should be easy for you when you take the class.
I mean, yeah, but it's still a learning curve, because like I've obviously like then like worked with like like professors who like were able to like navigate how to like turn call tricks into like SPSS, R, and stuff. But like now I'm taking the initiative.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. For me, I did not get to register classes, for some reason. So I don't know what classes I'm taking next. But I'll take Arabic, obviously, because I took Arabic last semester.
Ooh.
Yeah, I took 2 Arabic classes, so I now speak Arabic. Maybe intermediate, not advanced, at intermediate Arabic, yeah. And then I may take a math class as well, and a CS class.
Okay, do you plan on like getting a certificate in Arabic?
Yeah, I want to finish the certificate classes, because I think I may not major in it, but I'll get a certificate. Yeah, I think that's very important, like having an Arabic certificate. It's very nice to have it, like especially me as a Muslim, and if I plan to like be in a Muslim country or work in a Muslim country, like Arab country in the Middle East, I feel like if I have a certificate, it's going to help me a lot.
No, it's definitely gonna help you. Like you could work in like the UAE or like Dubai or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like one of my dad's like friends, like relatives, like they're able to like work in like the UAE as a doctor and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's really
great. Yeah.
important.
I mean, regardless of your religion, if you have a certificate and you know how to speak the language, you can work everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, even I heard that in the US, like the government actually hire people who speak Arabic.
Yeah, it's a language of interest because of the U.S. foreign relations, which I
Exactly.
really, I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah. Do you plan to take a language class?
No, like if anything, I feel like my priority, like I do want to like learn how to speak Ewe because I feel like, but the only thing is like the difference between like learning how to speak Ewe and learning how to speak Tree. There's so many more resources to speak Tree, but it's like I always have this argument, especially with like a lot of people I grew up with. They're like, why don't you speak Tree? Why don't you speak Tree? Some of my family don't even speak Tree, so why would I learn a language that like not all of my family can speak? Because like all my family who can speak Tree, like they know how to speak English, but like some of my family, especially the Agbozame who like learn how to speak Ewe, like their English is not that great. So like why would I learn how to speak Tree like when I could learn how to speak Ewe?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, what language do you speak?
I mean, I only speak English.
English.
So
Okay, that's cool. I feel like I know in the US, like everyone speaks English, obviously, and a lot of people speak just English.
yeah.
It is interesting. So when you come here and then it's like you're speaking many languages, they're impressed. They're like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, and that's just because like the U.S. is just so like everybody has to like come bow to us instead of us having to try to learn other things. Like even with Spanish, like I do know a lot of people who speak Spanish, and like where I live, there's like also like a lot of like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, so they speak Spanish too.
Yeah.
And it's like I wouldn't call myself like fluent in Spanish, but like if like I've taken Spanish for like most of my K to 12 career before I came to college. So I do understand some Spanish and stuff,
Okay.
but I wouldn't call myself fluent.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's just English.
Yeah, it's like the second language here, right? Spanish.
Yeah, like a lot of people speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's nice. I want to take Spanish going forward. Like I took 101 and I dropped the class because it wasn't beginner friendly. It was like I went to class and everyone was speaking Spanish the first day.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the downside of Williams. A lot of these one-on-one classes, a lot of people already come with the knowledge, so it's not fair for people who totally want to learn and explore.
Exactly.
And it's because like I mean, you can take like a Spanish class pass fail to just like learn.
Yeah.
And somebody who recently graduated, that's what she did. Like she was taking Chinese, but then she just decided, oh, let me just take French the whole year and just use up my pass fail.
Okay.
So that's an option.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
nice.
the main reason why. Even though I have a background in Spanish, it's still not beginner friendly, and I don't want to wake up at 9 a.m. if I don't have to.
Yeah, I agree. No, I mean Arabic. I do feel like it's beginner friendly because it was very basic stuff. Like you start from the very basics, and you're not forced to speak Arabic your first day. Like you can speak English, and then going forward, as you learn more, you start to speak Arabic in class. So I feel like it was very beginner friendly, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
So yeah, going forward, I'd love to take some more Arabic classes. I mean, I love Arabic poetry. It's beautiful. Yeah. That's one of my motivations for taking Arabic, so I can learn the poetry. So I'm actually going to take a poetry class to this fall, and also the normal language class, so intermediate Arabic. I think Arabic 201
Nice.
is my next Arabic class. Yeah. So I'm super excited for that. I can't wait for it to start.
No, that's exciting. That's how I feel like about like I'm excited to take my classes too.
Yeah.
I know a bit of them might be difficult, but like hey, sometimes like you need that intellectual stimulation.
Yeah,
but also I need to enjoy the summer because I have all of next year to be struggling.
What do you have for incoming freshmen? How do you have to tell them?
First of all, congratulations. Like, oh my God, getting in here is no easy feat, especially if you're Black, especially if you're Hispanic, especially if you're not a white athlete, all shade. So congratulations. And just be real, be yourself, and do not be afraid of confrontation. Because a thing I've learned socially about Williams is a lot of people here are afraid of confrontation. They will talk about people behind your back, have all these grievances, but instead of letting it out and like trying to work with these people, like they just keep it to themselves or they talk behind people's back. But I believe whatever comes talking back will become to light, especially at a small school. So you'll always be at the upper hand if you like if you just learn how to address conflict. And it's not easy to address conflict. It's not easy to like try to be like confrontational or whatever. But in order for us to live as a community, in order for us to live in harmony, we must build those skills. And a lot of people lack those skills. So that's just the social aspect. And also join clubs, join queer, like join a lot of affinity-based groups. And yeah, racism sucks. Racism is hard. And you will experience some sort of microaggressions, racism, like I definitely have. And for me, coming from such a diverse place where I still experience racism, but I had so much community to help me from virtually like having to build community and do all that stuff. Like it is definitely hard. So just know that, you know, I'm a resource, you know, being on the board of like a lot of like Black affinity groups, you know, you have the Davis Center, just knowing, or even if you're having trouble, there's so many resources available that you came here to use. So use them and join a sport. Like I was, even if it's not join, like just try a sport that you never tried before. I've never done rugby before. And even when I tell a lot of people I play rugby, like they laugh at me. They're like, oh my God, you're so skinny. Why are you playing rugby? But it's because I like the community there. So definitely like join a sport, try to stay active, do a PE, and do not be afraid to try new things like you're in college. Like, you know, if you've never skied before, ski. Like you never played rugby before, play rugby. Like if there's something you're itching to do, this college has so many resources and this is the time to take advantage of them. So I know it's easy to stick to the stuff you know, but try something new and who knows, maybe you'll stick.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time. You know, it's been very busy for you. Like you mentioned, you have a lot going on, but you made the time to be with me.
Of course. I think that's another thing. The last thing I want to tell Frosh. Make time for people. Like, you know, everybody, and I think that's the thing that kind of hurt me. You know, there's a lot of people who, you know, I was like very close to, like especially like during my freshman year, who, you know, I had to cut off or I had to like, you know, break up with because they just didn't, they didn't make the time for me. They were just too tired or too late. It was always a two, but it's like, you know, in this life, you'll always have those things. But you know what's important is like, when people you care about make the time for you. So make time for fun, make time for enjoyment, make time for your friends you make here. Just make time for people. This work is never that important. Like that you will get the A. You guys are all smart. You will get the A, you'll do that. But there's certain things like, you know, spending time with your friends, making sure you're just in community with them if they're having a hard day. Those are things that, you know, matter more than the A on your transcript. So make time for people. Do not forget how to be a human.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
So to the incoming freshmen, congratulations. We can't wait to have you on campus very soon. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.